Generating traffic and sales can be a challenge for online merchants. But selling on the Walmart Marketplace puts your products in front of millions of customers who shop on Walmart.com. And right now, sellers who join Walmart Marketplace can save up to 50% on referral and fulfillment fees for the first 90 days. So get started today. Head over to marketplace.walmart.com/savings. That's marketplace.walmart.com/savings.
Today's podcast is sponsored by SLI Systems, providers of intelligent site search and navigation solutions. Learn more at sli-systems.com and listen to their interviews at ecommercepodcast.com. Welcome to E-Commerce Conversations, a weekly podcast focusing on e-commerce topics featuring interviews with prominent people in the e-commerce space.
Well, welcome to another edition of E-Commerce Conversations by Practical E-Commerce. My name is Kerry Murdock. I'm the publisher of Practical E-Commerce, and we're joined today by Jody Hartwig. Jody is Vice President of eBusiness at Netconcepts, which is an agency specializing in natural search marketing and in e-commerce. I should say that Jody and her associates at Netconcepts are regular editorial contributors to our magazine and to our website. And Jody, thank you for joining us today.
You're very welcome, Kerry. Thank you for asking me.
Sure. We're here today to talk about Microsoft's new live search cashback program. Jody, I know that you and your firm have expertise in search, and you're familiar with Microsoft's live cashback program. And we're wondering if you can describe that program to our listeners. Our listeners, of course, are e-commerce merchants. If you could describe the program to us, and if you could tell us your opinion of the program.
I'd be happy to. Yes, myself and Netconcepts in general are always out there looking to see what the search engines are doing, particularly Google, Yahoo, and MSN. So when Microsoft came out with its new live search cashback program, we were all ears and all eyes. I think it's a little early to tell, but let me give you my thoughts on what the program's about and how it differs a bit to what Google and Yahoo offer. So Microsoft's model is a cost per acquisition model, which differs greatly from Google and Yahoo, which is a cost per click model. So Google and Yahoo, let's see, they require payment for every click, no matter whether a sale is made ultimately or not. Microsoft's new model, however, is slightly different. Again, it's a cost per acquisition model, which means they're incenting users to perform searches on their search engine and luring advertisers in with the promise that they'll only pay when a sale is made. So that's definitely an incentive for advertisers because they can they'll only be paying when a sale is made. So those are the basic differences. I think it's a little soon, in my own opinion, to tell how successful this may or may not be. Certainly it's Microsoft's objective to gain some market share in the search world over Google and Yahoo. And so it's an interesting model that we'll want to take a look at. But I think they definitely have some additional things that they need to overcome in order for this live search cashback program to take off. I'm still sure. In my opinion, I think they still have some usability issues and some search result relevancy issues to overcome. And until we see those things worked on and focused on by Microsoft, I don't think they're going to get the market share over Google that they're looking for. So for an example, users need to register to the program. They have to set up an account that stores all their purchase history. And so depending on how much someone might use their search facility, that may just be a barrier that will cause quite a few people to turn off the program.
Users, I'm sorry for interrupting, but searchers. Okay, got it. Mm-hmm.
Correct. some usability issues, and these are things that could be easily overcome, don't get me wrong. It appears to me that the search results pages are still a bit cluttered. They're not as user-friendly, and that just goes to show that until recently, Microsoft really hasn't focused on the search results. That's really been Google's prominence, and that's why they really shine, and that's why they have, I think, at this point, 60% of the search market share. So Microsoft has some work to do there. And one thing that I also think is a barrier that will be interesting to see if they can overcome is the model doesn't appear to provide that instant gratification that most online users are looking for. From what I can gather, the cashback amount for the user goes into an account. And until you reach, I think it's a $5 minimum amount, it just sits there. And then when you get that minimum amount, you can request the payment. I think it's direct deposit, maybe PayPal or a check. And then there's a 60-day or some such waiting period. And then after that, then there's maybe another 1 or 2 weeks until the payment's actually received. So it seems very contrary to the instant gratification model that we're used to as online users. We want things now, we want them fast, we're going to forget about them, or they're just not really worth our time. Again, dependent on what the rebate amount is, that's going to be a barrier to overcome. That and the need or the requirement to register an account are two things that I see, could keep the numbers relatively small until they start getting really out there in marketing and people are seeing, how it's working.
That makes sense. I read, Jody, that I believe it was that Microsoft announced over 700 merchants had signed up for the program. My question there is, how does a merchant sign up for it? Can any merchant sign up for it? And is this something merchants, our listeners, of course, are merchants, is this something merchants should consider, in your view?
Okay. Well, 700 merchants is what I saw listed as well. Is that a good start? Maybe. But I think there's still a long way for Microsoft to go to get the market share they're looking for. I think some of the other comparison shopping engines that are out there, obviously have over, 10,000 merchants. So again, there's some growing that Microsoft needs to do. As far as what merchants are accepted into the program, it's pretty easy. They can call a Microsoft account executive, or they can fill out an interest form on the Microsoft site. And there are some requirements. They need to be headquartered in the U.S. They need to be a retail site with e-commerce capabilities, meaning they can people can order and pay for products on their website. The company itself must do the physical shipment of the product. They need to be able to create and maintain a product data feed to Microsoft, and they need to install a standard tracking pixel on their order confirmation page, because that's how Microsoft will actually track the transaction and how the whole program works. So fairly simple, but may require a small merchant to have someone from a technical standpoint help them implement some of those things.
Who sets the amount of the rebate? Does the merchant determine that? Does Microsoft determine that?
Yeah, it doesn't appear that the merchant has the say-so in that regards. In most cases, it appears that Microsoft will determine the amount that the shoppers will get. I just did a quick look, and I was looking for a digital camera, and so I used that as an example. And for a Samsung digital camera ranging between $90 and $107, the rebates ranged from 2 to 5%. So from the looking I did, it looked as if it was going to be driven by Microsoft.
All right. Would you recommend a small business, a smaller e-commerce business, would you recommend that they participate in this?
I'm actually going to take a let's wait and see approach for both myself and the clients that I consult with. Again, there's probably some barriers and some technical implementation that, while not really being too huge, maybe something that's better left to see or wait until some of these other things that I feel Microsoft needs to work on are taken care of. Again, I think smaller merchants are still going to be somewhat lost in the search results. Google still appears, in my opinion, to do a better job of providing relevant results, no matter what size the company is. So if you concentrate on good content on your site, you can sometimes overcome in some cases. And with Google's search market share higher still in both April and May, I'm still going to probably take a wait-and-see approach into Q3 and see what happens in Q4.
Is there a fee for signing up for merchants? Do you know?
I believe that there is. It appears to be slight, and I think that's fine. I don't really see any big barrier there, but I'm kind of waiting to see what I think the value is to the user, to the purchaser, or to the searcher before I recommend it to my e-commerce clients. Okay. I'm more interested in the relevancy of the search results and Microsoft kind of overcoming some of these user barriers before I recommend it to a merchant.
This has been very interesting, Jody. Our listeners, again, are e-commerce merchants. Is anything else you'd like to say to our listeners relative to the live search program or any other aspect of paid search?
Not really. I think it's a very interesting topic, and I continue, as does everyone here at Netconcepts, to kind of monitor these things. We really do wish Microsoft well. We'd like to see. I think as Microsoft focuses on providing more relevant search results, that can only help the whole search engine market as a whole. That will springboard Google and Yahoo to make further improvements too, because it's a very competitive market. So I look forward to seeing what's going to happen over the next 4 to 6 months, I guess.
All right. Well, Jody Hartwig, Vice President of eBusiness for Netconcepts, we thank you for your time today.
Thank you, Kerry.
That's all the time we have for this week's e-commerce conversation. I hope you enjoyed it. Please tune in next week for another new episode.